Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking. And today I would like to speak to you about Meghan's and Prince Harry's chart. Now, I would like to put a disclaimer out there. This is astrological insight. This is for students who want to practice something to do with synastry. And it's nothing political, so please refrain yourself from any type of political comments. We are not interested in those type of things in my channel. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update because actually it was something which got asked by a couple of people on my channel, because I made a prediction last year about what to expect with their marriage and in their lives, and most of it already rang true. So I thought I would give you a little bit of an update. This might be a little bit of a longer video because what I'm going to be doing today with you is we're going to be looking at their individual charts separately, and then we're going to be looking at some of their synastry aspect. And then I would like to look at towards the end their marriage chart. Now, the reason why I want to be looking at the marriage chart is because they had recently an interview with Oprah where they claimed that basically their marriage took place 3 days earlier than the official royal ceremony. And that is change gamer. So I'm going to be comparing the two marriage chart for you, and it significantly changes kind of their fate. So that's also something I want to be talking about. And then in the very end, I would like to look at their upcoming year as well, what we can be expecting. So stay tuned, probably in the next 1 hour, and I hope you enjoy this video. And if you do so, then please press like, ring the notification bell so you are notified about my wonderful videos, and share the video as well with others who might be interested in this. So without any further ado, let's dive into the relationship of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. So, by the way, if you are interested about their chart, then I'm going to be putting, if you are interested about that video, which I made last year, then I'm going to be putting the link on the screen so that you can check that out. In that video, you can learn more about perfection, as I demonstrated how to use that. We went through with Sweaty their perfected load of the year, so you can gain plenty of knowledge. Now, today I will explore their chart a little bit more in depth for you and making further predictions of what is coming up for them. So let's start with Meghan's chart. So the very first thing which stands out for me is that almost every single planet are under the horizon. The only exception is the god of war, Mars, which is actually the ruler of her career house and social status. Now, when you have got most of your planets underneath the horizon, it usually indicates that the person is very private. And even if they work in the public sphere, somehow they want to be secretive, they want to be protecting their privacy. Now, as I said, the only exception from this is Mars, which is the ruler of her career and social status, and that Mars is placed in the first house. So, technically speaking, this Mars is actually in fall, which might sound bad, but actually, it's not necessarily that bad. Looking at her Mars, actually, it has got some dignity by triplicity. Now, Mars has got strength in water signs when we talk about a night chart. Night chart means that basically the sun is under the horizon. The horizon is your ascendant and descendant line. So if your sun is under that line, then basically you were born at night. Now, so this Mars is not too bad. And having Mars in the first house kind of indicates that she does want to be visible and wanting to take charge also. So, but also Mars represents something to do with protecting and standing up for my own rights. And because it's in the sign of Cancer, that's more about standing up for my family and my privacy. So Meghan has got a Cancer rising sign, which means that her soul is motivated by emotional intimacy, security, and caring of others. So Cancer usually has got this empathic nature, and it's best expressed when she's at home, or she can supply her loved ones with everything they need in order for them to feel safe. And this is how Meghan might feel safe as well. So, for instance, having a sacred place or a secure place I can retreat when maybe I feel emotionally overwhelmed, or I can look after myself as well. So there is that element of self-care, and Cancer doesn't want to be threatened. So probably she is most fulfilled when she's surrounded by individuals who are close to her, or she has got a deep emotional connection with, someone who can understand her sensitive and intuitive nature as well. And of course, one of the main topic of Cancer is motherhood. So um, now I know not every single Cancer rising sign will have a family. So you're gonna have to look at the ruler and whether does that ruler have got some connections to the fifth house or the fourth house as well. But this kind of shows to us that, you know, relocation from her hometown could be something which eventually gonna be causing some type of frustration for her. Now, the ruler of that Mars is Moon, which is actually the ruler of her rising sign as well. And it is in the fourth house. Now, Moon is in conjunction with Saturn, which is actually the planet responsible for her relationships because Saturn rules her seventh house. Now, that Saturn is actually in an exalted position, which could represent a person in hierarchy or in some type of leadership position. And especially as it is the 10th sign away from the seventh house, meaning that the person's career could be some type of elevated position. Funnily enough, Asian people used to call planet in exaltation as a prince type of energy. Now, it doesn't mean that whoever has got Capricorn on the seventh house cusp and Saturn being in the sign of Libra, that everyone is going to get married to a prince. But usually those people have got some type of security or maybe an elevated financial background. So, looking at that moon, which is basically the ruler of her chart, is in a cardinal air sign of Libra. So that indicates to us that she wants to express her caring nature in a way that's sociable, relatable, and fair as well. So, by the way, this moon is actually applying to Saturn. So, applying aspects usually indicate that it is coming. So, it's a future marker basically in our chart. And at the end of the day, Saturn is Saturn. It's a malefic planet. Even though it's strongly positioned, it's not going to be always that remarkable. So Saturnian issues will follow her through in her entire life. Now, she has got a stellium if you look at that fourth house. Basically, stellium is something where there are four or more planets in one sign and house. If you are unsure about stelliums, then I recommend checking out my course on stelliums, which is definitely going to be minimum 5 hours. Now, this superior conjunction, which we have got in the fourth house, pulls in different type of topics. So Jupiter is, for instance, the ruler of the ninth house, which talks about foreign countries. Saturn is the planet of relationship in her chart, and Moon is herself. So Moon and Saturn strong conjunction indicates that I'm standing together. I'm standing right next to my partner. And as we said, Moon has got that protective shell. So somehow that Saturn is pulled in to be protected. And because we do have got Jupiter there, that could indicate something to do with foreign countries, foreign matters. Now, we do know that, of course, they are from different country, but that Jupiter also rules the sixth house, which is the house of service to others. Now, typically in ancient astrology, the sixth house was called as servants. But, when you are in a royal position, basically you are a servant to your own country. So, by the way, in this stellium, Saturn is the most prominent planet because he has got the highest dignity. So it's like Saturn is kind of ruling that stellium there, which means that it's a grounded, disciplined energy. It wants to have structure. It wants to overcome any type of hurdles and obstacles which are thrown in front of me. And because it is placed in the fourth house, it means that I want to be having a structured family life. So I want to know what I'm going to be doing with the kids tomorrow. And I want to know where my partner is. And I want to be able to count on my partner, what time he's going to arrive home, and so forth. Now, the fourth house, on top of that, is about private. It's a private house. And being in the public eye must be extremely exhausting for her. Obviously, the public eye house is something to do with the 10th house. So all those planets in the fourth are actually opposing her 10th house. This stellium in her chart is ruled by Venus, which is placed in the third house. So, you know, basically, it does indicate to us that Venus is more comfortable in her own neighborhood, being surrounded with familiar things in her life, or being connected just to my own relatives. And also that Venus is 12 sign away from the fourth, which indicates that she has to surrender and make sacrifices in order for her to maintain that family environment she is craving for. Now, also we can see that Uranus is actually an exact trine from the fifth house to her rising sign. So that does indicate that somehow I want to break patterns in this incarnation. So she has got quite an interesting chart, in my opinion. Um, Even when I look at her um, karmic duties, basically she has got the North Node in conjunction with Mercury. North Node in Leo does indicate that I need to learn how to shine. And because it's placed in the second house, that is an indication that I need to do that through self-worth, as well as something to do with my own financials. So I have to create my own financials. But because we do have got Mercury right on top of it, which is the ruler of her 12th house, it does indicate that I need to learn how to shine, but staying at the background as well at the same time, which I feel like it's very interesting because this is exactly what she is trying to do. Now, when it comes to Prince Harry, let's have a look at what's going on in his chart very briefly. So, interestingly enough, his midheaven is also ruled by Mars. And his Mars is in the 12th house, which is about giving up his career in a sudden way. Now, why is that? Because the midheaven is something to do with your public status, and Mars being in the 12th house, 12th house is all about giving up on something. Um, and Mars has got a conjunction to Uranus, so I do that in a shocking, sudden way. Now we can look at his conjunction, Saturn conjunction to his midheaven, which is quite interesting in my opinion. He is destined to take a leadership role, but that Saturn also feels limited when it comes to intimacy. Why is that? Because Saturn is in the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio is all about privacy, intimacy, and Saturn is the fear. So he is destined to take this leadership role, but at the same time, he is scared of losing his privacy and losing the intimacy, most probably, with that very strong bond he is making to his partner. And he has got a Capricorn rising sign. And the reason why it's interesting for us is because the Queen has got Scorpio midheaven with Saturn on it and the Capricorn rising sign as well. So that was one of the reasons why I said a couple of years ago when I made the first video that I do believe that he should or he is going to become one day a king or at least a hierarchy figure. So what also we can see here is in his chart that um, that um, this Mars, which he has got in the 12th house, the ruler of the midheaven, it could also indicate some type of mental health struggles. And probably that's one of the reasons also why he doesn't want to be visible in the world when it concerns his career. He wants to do something meaningful because that Mars is in the sign of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all about uh, finding the truth in life or finding the meaning to life. And the 12th house is all about being behind the scene. Now, when we look at his seventh house ruler, which is actually the moon, it is placed in the fifth house. So, what do we want in the relationship? We want stability because it's Taurus, and we want to have children, fifth house. And also, this moon conjuncts his IC, and the IC is very much about the family roots I'm coming from. So, it's all about settling down. Now, he might be quite a romantic nature as well, because Taurus is all about pleasure, massage, and things like that. So I think his young age, rebellious nature comes from the Uranus and the Mars conjunction in the 12th house. So Mars is actually the public view uh, in his chart, and Uranus is a quirky energy. So it is not a shock for me, actually, that there is quite a scandal around him nowadays, also because the South Node is sitting on his, the transiting South Node is sitting on his Uranus. So when we look at their Synastry chart, now what's interesting here is that both of them have got their moon on their IC. So it means that both want to be private and both are very family focused. Meghan's Mars is sitting on Harry's descendant, so she's actually bringing some type of tension into his public life. As we said, her Mars is in fall, uh, so it does have got a little bit of a volatile energy, but not as much as it was, for instance, a day chart. Now, Meghan's stellium is falling into his 10th house, so all her family lineage is connected with Harry's public persona. His Venus is actually in conjunction to Pluto, to her Pluto. So that does talk about intense relationship, but this is Harry's fifth house ruler as well. So it indicates that she is the mother of his children. So also what you can see in their synastry chart is that Harry's Saturn actually makes a square to Megan's son. So I do like Saturn in Synastry because it does talk about commitment. But we do also need to bear in mind, as soon as the relationship goes on, Saturn does bring some type of restrictions in the relationship. Um, and sometimes that relationship can become a burden as well, in one way or another. Also, you can be picking up that they have got Mars square Venus. Now, I do like seeing Mars and Venus combinations in synastry because that does talk about chemistry. So this couple has got a chemistry, but it comes with a little bit of a flair, a little bit of a tension. So we do have got a powerful synastry here. And when we look at that Mars and Venus square, basically his 11th house is square in her fourth house. So that's something to do with my public life. In a sense, social media is square in my sense of peace, my inner peace. Um, and I feel like it just indicates that both have to or have had to make sacrifices in order for this love to work out. Now we can also see that Meghan's Neptune is actually in connection to Harry's Mars. Now, Mars is the career planet of Harry's chart, and Neptune is in the sixth house in Meghan's chart. Now, this is talking about something to do with dissolving his career or somehow causing some type of confusion with the everyday life activity, the way we live our life. And so basically, her sixth house gets combined with his career and 12th house energies. So again, the surrender, the letting go of something, fighting with our inner demons are there. And also, if you look at it, it's very prominent. Harry's Jupiter is actually opposing her descendant. Now, Jupiter does rule the 12th house in Harry's chart, as well as his third house. So actually, it's all about the media and the way we want to be hiding away from that is opposing Meghan, meaning that it's causing some type of frustration. So overall, this synastry is telling me that there are very powerful connections here. And I do believe that it indicates that they've got some karmic connections with that fourth, 12th, 10th house energy. But one of the major downfall of this relationship is the media. And the biggest issue, I mean, this issue is bigger actually for Meghan than Harry. Now, when we look at the timings, actually, what I would like to mention that the royal family has always been very impacted by the eclipses. So if you go through some of the major royal family drama, then Princess Diana's death, or her marriage, or even Harry's and Meghan's marriage, they were all somehow related to eclipses. And therefore, it's going to be very important to look at which eclipse is going to be triggering them, which I'm going to be doing very shortly. Now, what I would like to mention that there was this explosive interview uh, with Oprah. And Meghan actually there clearly stated that she was quite suicidal during her time as a royal member of the family. And she said that she just didn't want to live anymore. Now, it is no coincidence actually, because Pluto, the god of the underworld, has been passing over Meghan's descendants. Um, Her descendant is on 24 degree, as you can see from the chart. And I feel like that's extremely telling. So my relationship is somehow suffocating me. So 2 years ago, I did mention that Pluto can destroy their relationship. And I feel like probably they had a sense about this. So that's why they wanted to speak about it. Obviously, they wanted a little bit of a media attention as well by having, which I'm going to be speaking about a little bit later. So I'm not going to reveal that just now. So, but it might be a question in your head. What is the reason for Meghan wanting to speak now? Because Oprah wanted to have an interview with her a couple of years ago, and she said the time hasn't come yet. So when you look at the current transits, actually Uranus, which is the second ruling planet of Aquarius, is squaring to Saturn, the ruling planet of Capricorn. And actually, this could be giving us an idea, or at least a perfect timing what Saturn rules, really, right? To talk about and to bring some skeletons out of the closet. Why the skeleton? Because Saturn does rule the eighth house, which is the house of kind of secrets, as well as Saturn rules her relationship department. So she wants to kind of shockingly reveal some of those facts. Let's not forget this Saturn Uranus square is going to be happening 3 times this year. And even it's going to be leaning into 2022 as well. So this wasn't the first and the last when we heard about them. I'm kind of sure about that. So, and also I would mention here that with that Saturn opposing Meghans, Leo, Sun, and Mercury conjunction, and then also Uranus is squaring to it. It just tells me that she wants to set the record straight. So if you look at it a little bit closer, then you will be able to see what I'm talking about. So we've got Saturn currently somewhere sitting around 10 degrees. Well, between let's say 10 degrees, and that is opposing that Sun and Mercury conjunction, right, in the second and the eighth house axis. And then if you look at where Uranus is, which is in the sign of Taurus, it's basically squaring both of them. So it is a T square. And the T square always has got an apex planet, and that's the squaring planet. And that's what we call as apex, and that's a solution planet. Now, it is happening in her 11th house, meaning that the solution she sees out of this opposition, what is going on between the royal family, Sun in Leo, and the structure and the rules and the government, Saturn in the opposite sign. The only way out of this is something to do with shocking the crowd and going on the internet, 11th house with Uranus in it. So I hope that makes sense for everyone. Now, also, if you look at what was going on, and that was a very prominent event because it's marking a 20-year cycle for us, the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, which actually happened on her south node. So let's just explore what that means for us. Now, these transits happens every 12 years, and usually only last about a week. But because if, for instance, Saturn goes retrograde, then obviously it would be lasting at least for 6 months. Now, this time around, it won't happen. However, it is still a prominent aspect because it is something which is marking the next 20 years in her life. So when Saturn conjunct South Node is actually affecting us on the macrocosmic level. So it's something to do with letting go of some of the structure and letting go of some of the relationship blockages, which are causing some type of fear in the intimacy department. Why is that? Because it's happening in her eighth house, and Saturn is the ruler of her relationship. So I feel like this T square, there was a choice here to be made. Either we're going to let go of the relationship, Saturn conjunction to the South Node and opposing the Sun in the second house, or we're going to be using the Uranian trait as the apex planet to come out of that. And I feel like they have made the wise choice. Now, of course, we don't know whether they were thinking about breaking up or, going separate ways. But this with the Pluto and the descendant, which, by the way, is going to be happening another 2 times in the upcoming 1 year. So it is still somehow there are plenty of intensity going on in the relationship, and that Saturn is going to be in that eighth house in the next couple of years. And when you have got Saturn going through your eighth house, that's very much about thinking, you know, whether I am afraid of something, or why am I why am I having hardship of being completely naked in front of my partner? And here I'm talking about inner nakedness rather than the physical one, meaning that can I actually trust my partner fully? Or how do I feel about the life I have lived so far? And these are the most significant topics in Megan's chart in the next couple of years. But taking it a notch further, in the interview, she mentioned that her real wedding happened 3 days earlier than the actual, like, royal ceremony. And that will change some of my ideas about the marriage with Harry. Because when I looked at a couple of years ago their chart, actually, I looked at their marriage chart. And that had some very funny moments there. So, by the way, we don't exactly know the time of the day. So, what I did was I just erected the chart for 12 p.m. Local time. I would like to remind you that this is speculation only, but usually the royal couples do that somewhere early afternoon. So that's why I believed maybe 12 o'clock could be right. But it doesn't really matter because we're not going to be looking at the house positions. We're going to be focusing on some of the planetary alignments today. Um, and actually, definitely one thing for sure, Moon would be in the sign of Gemini. And now, on that day, actually, the moon covered a range between 1 to 19 degrees in Gemini. So it's definitely happened while moon was in this sign. And I guess moon is going to be somewhere around 10 degree of Gemini during their marriage ceremony. Now, when we look at the sun, in this marriage chart, you can see it's on 25 degree or 25 degree of Taurus. Now, the reason why it's important for us because in the previous marriage chart, it would have been on 28 degree, at almost 29. And 29 degree is something to do with a karmic aspect, but also something which is related to struggle. And the last 3 degrees of the sign usually indicate something to do with rush and hastiness and stress. And the reason being is because the last 3 degree of the sign usually ruled by Saturn or Mars. So, but in this new marriage chart, the sun is actually not in a late degree anymore. So we can say that actually there is not so much tension going on there anymore. So, as I mentioned, if the marriage would have taken place on the 19th, then the sun would have been almost on 29 degree. And that is filled with drama. Also, on the 19th of May, the moon was in the sign of Leo, and it would have had a first quarter lunar phase. Now, a first quarter lunar phase is all about struggle, all about being tested and things which we're going to have to overcome. Now, this time around, this is not a first quarter moon phase anymore. It is a lot more harmonious. So these are the couple of things which I picked up on the difference, and these are making significant differences. By the way, when we look at their composite chart, um, which is quite remarkable, by the way, they have got a Libra rising sign going on, and with 0 degree of Venus. So it does indicate a fresh couple, someone who wants to be in relationship. And the rising sign has got a conjunction to Saturn, which is, by the way, an exalted Saturn. So it could talk about a long-term relationship, but that Saturn has got a conjunction to Pluto as well, meaning that there is going to be some power struggles going on as well at the same time. Now, another thing which is very interesting in this composite chart, that they do have got their midheaven in Cancer on 29 degree, right, a very tight conjunction with Moon. So another planet which is actually elevated. So far we do have got Venus and Saturn, and another one which is Moon. So it indicates that as a couple, they want to be seen as a family, a nurturing, caring family who looks after their children. The only little thing which bothers me a little bit is the sun in the 12th house, which could be sometimes quite challenging. When you have got the sun in the 12th house in your composite chart, it does talk about an element of mystery. There is always something new to get to know about my partner, or we can be keeping secrets from each other, or we just want to be hidden away as a couple. So another indication here how important it is for them to be private. Now, I don't want to be talking about the composite chart that much. However, when we're going to be looking at some timings, then I would definitely need to look at that. So we're going to come back onto that right now, actually. So, by the way, if you don't know what composite chart is, it is a technique which combines two natal charts together into one chart, and actually that becomes like a couple becomes one person. And the composite chart explains how the world sees them and how they work together as a couple, what type of experiences they are going through in their relationship. Now, one of the reasons why composite chart is very powerful, because actually you can use timing techniques with that, and you can see what the relationship is going through. So yes. Okay. So let's move on a little bit because we've got plenty of things to cover. I feel like their relationship indicates a very strong past life relationship for both of them. Harry's natal moon, which dictates a personal emotional nature, connects with the transiting sun on that wedding date, while aligning his natal north node of destiny. So this kind of suggests to me that he was fated to marry Meghan. And by the way, Meghan was also having her nodal return, which only happens every 18 and a half years when the nodes return to the same sign and the degree of our birth chart. And that happened exactly on the 16th of May. So I find that quite remarkable. Just go back onto her transit chart and then check that out. So this is also an indication for me that this marriage was written in the stars for Meghan too. Uh, I do have got a feeling that an astrologer was calculating a proper marriage date for them, by the way. The only little hard aspect which I see in their marriage chart is their moon on 28 degree of Cancer, which is, by the way, the same, which is actually being squared by Neptune. And Neptune is very much about delusions and deceptions and something to do with lies. And Moon in Gemini is all about gossips, really. So this could indicate that they are spreading some type of rumors about them. But it also could indicate a tension between what the couple shares and what they want to guard. Moon is all about guarding something, and Neptune is all about sharing and donating. So um, now, what I do believe is going to be quite significant in the future is that um, this year, Mercury retrograde is actually going to be occurring on the same degree of the moon of their wedding date. So Mercury is the planet of communication. So this is one of the reasons why I believe they will speak out again. Or actually, they might be coming up with some type of projects. When we look at their composite charts, actually, that Mercury does talk about ninth house. So ninth house is all about publishing and something to do with foreign matters. Even it could be an indication of holy matrimony, as well as something to do with relocation, for instance, but something to do with foreign businesses as well. So I think we're going to be hearing of them quite a lot. And probably we're going to be hearing some type of response from the palace as well. I do believe that in the future, in the next few years, Meghan and Harry will be inspired with some profitable ventures. And the reason why I believe that, because Saturn is actually having significant aspects to their wedding day chart. So Saturn is the planet of career focuses, um, something to do with concentration. So they will be concentrating on business opportunities in the next few years. And I also believe, because looking at their composite chart, um, Saturn Jupiter conjunction on the fifth house cusp will bring a new baby in the next couple of years for them as well. And the transiting north node going through now their ninth house, and it's going to be hitting Chiron towards the end of the year. So that is telling me that they're going to have to work on some of the relationship wounds. Wounds seem to be coming up for them. Um, so that Pluto transit on, on their personal charts are still lingering around, and it's going to be something which I still believe that this relationship might not survive. But seriously, I wish them all the best. Um, and if they can go towards the light, what Pluto wants, or if they are able to work through their wounds, this could be a very powerful relationship, and this could work absolutely. But yes, but I do see that they're gonna have to let go of some of the gossips and media attention, because that's gonna be somehow the savior of their relationship. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. It is, as I said, it is more educational. I am planning to do a little bit of a relationship synastry series for you, free of charge, on my YouTube channel, starting somewhere in 2-3 weeks' time. Because this is one of the most significant questions which come from you guys. So I thought in April, we're going to be focusing on relationship. Basically, it's the spring and everything starts, the flowers are coming, and, soon the nature is starting to change, and love is going to be in the air. So I thought I would be giving you free of charge some synastry classes. So see you very soon with my next video, and I love you all. Thank you very much. Bye bye.